I am Paolo with Consequence. I am here today with Theo and Ellie of Wolf Alice. How are you guys doing? It's so great to see both of you.
Yeah, we're really good. We're sat in our homes waiting to go to America this coming Sunday, so we're really excited at the moment.
Are you feeling the impending excitement? It's your first big tour in quite a while, right?
Yeah, it's been like we did a small run in the UK just a couple of weeks back, which was amazing. But yeah, this will be like a tour bus, loads of shows back to back. Back to doing it properly. So I think we're all buzzing, and we can't wait to just go and eat eggs in diners and all that kind of stuff.
Getting back into the old swing of things. I love that. I did want to say first and foremost, of course, congratulations on not just Blue Weekend, which was an incredible album that you guys released back in June, but also for the deluxe edition of Blue Weekend, which is coming out on Friday the 29th. There's some great live tracks from what I understand, and also a cover, right?
Yeah, we covered Bobby by Alex G, one of our kind of collective favourite new artists. So yeah, it was great to have a reason to record it.
Awesome. I'm curious. Yeah, how did that really come about? Who decided we got to do this Alex G song?
I think we'd played it at a kind of a charity event once. The people who put on the charity event really like kind of folk and country music, and we felt it's got that particular song of his, it's got a kind of folky country vibe, and we really loved playing it. The harmonies kind of, were really fun for Joel and I to share, and so when we were at rest, record a live cover, it felt like that was a good decision.
Definitely. I mean, he is a great artist, and I feel like, yeah, he's got that sort of folk and country edge to him, and it's really, really interesting. But Blue Weekend has been amazing. I do want to hear a little bit about, I know it's been a few months since the release, but I would love to know, just a little bit about how it's been these last few months, kind of as the release has been out and people have been connecting with it. Are you feeling a little bit differently than you did back in June doing all the press for it?
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. You can't really ask for a more kind of loving reception and reaction from people. It was really moving when the album actually came out, because it kind of took us away. It was, I think, our hardest album in terms of the process of making it for us, and then also the fact that we kind of entered coronavirus while we were doing it. So there was a lot of anxiety, and I think we were all really nervous and apprehensive. And I think for me, when The Last Man on Earth came out, which was the first single and the kind of like process began, it was really joyful from start to finish. We headlined a festival called Latitude here, off the back of it, around when everyone was allowed to kind of be released. Everyone was allowed to go to festivals again and go to the pub and all that good stuff. And that was a massive moment for us. The album went to number one here. We're from here, the UK, that being the UK. So that was incredible. But yeah, it's also strange because we haven't been able to play to people the way that we usually do. And that's usually where you kind of see instant reaction and you see how people really respond to the music that you made. And so it's been strange, but it's been amazing. So yeah.
That's great. I'm actually a little bit curious, especially because Blue Weekend, I think, your songs on Blue Weekend are the most involved, I feel like, than they've been. There's so many different elements working in them. So how do you build your songs? Where does it really start, and how has it really changed from 6-7 years ago with all of the My Love Is Cool songs? Is there a way that the process has sort of evolved, or is it still back to basics?
I think a lot of the ways in which we work have stayed the same, in the sense that someone will put more often than not make a demo of a song on their computer at home and then bring it to the band, and we'll then proceed to make another demo of it that is more of like a live take of it that we flesh out physically together in a room. And then we often kind of bring those two demos to a producer and meet somewhere in the middle in the recording studio. And I feel like that is a kind of way in which we've always worked. It's not necessarily means we do it for every single song, but for the past 3 albums, the majority of the songs came together like that. And I don't know, it doesn't mean that we'll continue to do that. It's exciting to consider it other ways or whatever, but it's kind of been the Wolf Alice way so far.
The Wolf Alice way. I love that. I did notice it was great that seeing some of the credits again for Blue Weekend, and I noticed Owen Pallett did string arrangements with you, Ellie, on that album. So what was it like working with him? He's a very studied musician from what I understand and is very prolific.
Yeah. Well, it was remotely working together because of coronavirus.
Yeah.
So we've never met him. We've never even spoken on the phone or anything, but
wow.
Sent him our demos or, like the MIDI versions of what we imagined. And he kind of built upon that, added flourishes here and there. And I mean, as soon as he sent his stuff back, we're like, yeah, that's great. It wasn't like an ongoing thing because he was really good. And yeah, I mean, like we're fans of Arcade Fire and especially their use of other instruments like violin, strings and stuff. So it was really quite a privilege to be able to work with him.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think you can tell on the album. It sounds so much more like big in a way that you guys hadn't quite sounded before. And I definitely think it comes across. So regarding touring, are you excited to kind of get back into the gear? Is it going to be tons and tons of shows from here on out, or are you going to take it a little bit more easy?
You know what we always say at the end? It's like at the beginning of an album campaign or kind of going out, you're like, oh, we want to go and play a billion shows, and then at the end of it, you're like, well, maybe we'll change the way we do it and we'll do it differently because we're really tired now. But we're at the beginning, I think, of like big US run. I think January 5th, we start our biggest UK run we've done, I think. And then that feeds into going to Europe and then hopefully more shows next year. I mean, if the world permits it, I think our idea is to play this album in as many places as possible to as many people and kind of celebrate it the way we would have celebrated it if, everything was open. So also it's a massive facet of all of our kind of adult lives. We've grown up pretty much touring 75% of the time and then kind of making music the rest of the time. Yeah.
Great. Well, you guys are a big festival act, of course. I know a lot of people associate you guys with the big Europe festivals. I am a little bit curious, what are some of your favorite festivals that you've played in the 7 years that you've been playing them? Do you have, I mean, of course, Glastonbury, everybody talks about, but, are there any specific festivals that you were like, wow, like they really did that so well, or, certain US festivals that have just completely stuck out to you? It's a hard one.
Yeah. We haven't played nearly enough US festivals like we really want to.
I agree.
Yeah. We did do a travelling festival in Australia, Splendor. Is it called Splendor? What's it called?
Laneways.
I think Big Day Out was the
Laneways Festival.
Yeah, Laneways Festival.
Oh, Laneway. That's what it is.
And that was a really unique experience because it's in multiple cities across Australia, but the same lineup. And we were kind of saying it was like a glorified school trip, wasn't it? Like getting on the plane with all these other artists and like, oh my God, who am I going to sit next to and who's going to be my friend? and then, being in Australia and discovering these cities. And so that was I think quite a special festival experience.
I feel like we haven't done that. On the first album we did some American festivals, and there's this one outside Seattle that we played just before we went home, and I now can't remember the name of it.
Maybe Bumbershoot?
No.
No, Sasquatch.
Yeah,
that one's no longer. I think that one's defunct now. I think they.
Oh shit!
I know
that really stuck out. But sorry, this is a bit of a segue. But I was just trying to remember, just ask you what the name of that festival was.
It's okay. But yeah, that sounds. I mean, I'm sure it was a great time. But yeah, I mean, it's so great to see that you guys are always popping up on lineups in Europe. I'm hoping that this summer we'll see you a little bit more stateside at festivals. That does kind of segue into another question that I wanted to ask. I'm always curious about what people's favorite songs to play live is. So I have a question: if you had each of you were playing a 3-song set, you could pick one song from each of your albums. What would the 3 songs be?
One from each album.
Yeah, one from each album.
Okay. I'll do Giant Peach, Don't Delete the Kisses. Fuck. Giant Peach, Don't Delete the Kisses, Last Man on Earth. I do like. It's kind of.
I like that.
Is that your answer as well, Ellie?
Giant Peach. Yeah, I feel like it's got a mixture of all our sides, maybe, and potential sing-alongs, which is like the nicest thing to watch, isn't it? In a way.
Are you still going to be closing out your sets with Giant Peach?
We've been playing it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what the set list will be when we come to America. Until you've played a couple of shows there, you don't know. You kind of need to road test it to see what people have latched onto, and just depending, it's not always the same thing as in, England or wherever else you've been. So, but yeah, we've been including it in the set.
I'm curious, how have you noticed any differences between American audiences or audiences elsewhere in the years of touring?
You know what? American audiences are like really are there with you, behind you, and enthusiastic, and it's really nice. I always feel like people are like, yeah, like I'm finished playing, I'm like, yeah, and I feel so good about that. Like, you kind of don't hear it anywhere else.
It's really funny when you sometimes, like, even if there's like a moment between songs and you'll like hear someone be like, "You're doing great." It's like they really want you to feel comfortable. I think we're very awkward English people, so that kind of thing's like, oh, thanks.
That's wonderful. I'm probably one of those people who's like, yeah. I was very curious. So if you could do a co-headlining tour with another band, because I'm not quite sure if you guys have ever really done a true, co-headlining band of your stature across the UK or anything, what band would you just absolutely love to tour with that's currently touring right now, or like, making music right now?
Ooh,
shit. So you can't say Oasis or anything.
Yeah. I mean, but that's kind of stupid. We could never, Yeah. Touring now.
Well, yeah, making music now.
Active band.
Active band.
This is a dangerous question because then it kind of shows your hand of how big you think you are.
But I want to know.
Oh, no, but then I'm going to do something self-deprecating instead, which is then rude now that I've said that. A band an experience that I loved was touring with Queens of the Stone Age because they were a childhood, favourite band of mine in the world of music. But they're, a huge festival headline act, so that's not kind of the same thing. And then
you guys are getting there, though.
Yeah. Oh God, I don't know who a band that we would co-headline with.
I don't know, like, what sizes people are playing and things like that.
Do you know what? I can kind of do this question better if it's not in the UK. Like, I would like to do a co-headline tour with Amel and the Sniffers in Australia. I think they're probably bigger than us because I really like watching them play. In America, I always think us and Foles would have a good similar crowd, because I feel like we kind of hit similar places. Maybe that would be fun. They're bigger than us in America. And then in the UK, it's too hard, man. I don't know.
Well, that was a great answer, actually. I love both of those bands.
Yeah, I kind of just wanted to. I just went off piste there.
No, perfect. Well, I'm also curious. What music have you feel like you've gravitated to a lot throughout the pandemic, especially even aside from recording the album last year? When we were all at home in lockdown, what kind of music were you flocking to or rediscovering?
Oh.
You know what? I'm going on my Spotify now because of this. I really got into John Prine, weirdly, which is a consequence of that Viagra Boys and Amelin. I think Amy Taylor, who's from Amelin the Sniffers, did a cover of In Spite of Ourselves. And then I ended up listening to loads of John Prine, which was cool. So that kind of led me into a lot of like singer-songwritery country stuff, which I was really enjoyed. And I started playing loads of acoustic guitar as well. I think I had a bit of a
wobbly.
A bit of a wobbly. Yeah. Don't worry, I smashed the acoustic guitar into pieces, and I'm back playing no instruments now.
Ellie, what about you?
I don't know, because we've had multiple lockdowns for ongoing now, so I haven't had a constant through each one. Mm-hmm. But it's been nice to like revisit stuff. Like today, even I revisited Multi Love by Unknown Mortal Orchestra, which I totally forgot about. It was one of my favourite albums when it came out, and I heard it again with fresh ears, and it's like, wow, this sounds like. They sound to me like, I don't know, like such classic songwriting, like, it could be like Stevie Wonder or something, but then produced in this kind of, very left field kind of way. That I noticed the lyrics more, and they're really good. I don't know, that I was kind of felt really inspired once again by that album. But that was just today, and I'm not in lockdown, so it's not really an answer to your question.
Oh, still, that was a great answer. I mean, that is a very, very classic album, I feel like. Well, you already, Theo, you mentioned Amyl and the Sniffers and even Viagra Boys. Are there any artists that are making music today or even this year, releases that you've really, really loved?
Yeah. There's so much. I feel like there's so much music coming out at the moment that's great. I mean, there's a great artist from the UK called Jelani Blackman who's just announced a mixtape. Label mates of ours, the 404 Guild, are a great act. I love, what's come out recently that I've really enjoyed? I'm drawing a blank now. Oh, I really like Chubby and the Gang as well. That's a band.
Yeah. Ellie, any bands for you?
I think one of and maybe my absolute favourite album that's come out this year is Glow On by Turnstile. I love it. I really like it. I really like this, whatever that genre is, that kind of poppy hardcore, but I don't know. It's just, it sounds fresh to me, and I would really like to catch them live as well. And I really like that album that Dora just put out. Oh, I don't know if she just put it out, but I thought that was cool. Lots of things, but they're just the two that I like the most at the moment.
Wonderful. Well, you guys definitely, I think, made a big splash this year. And I'm sure if I asked so many other bands, especially in England, they would say Blue Weekend, I think. But yeah, that's, I think, about all of the questions that I really had for you guys. And I guess, the last thing that I want to know is what can we expect from Wolf Alice in 2022 and beyond, besides lots of touring, I'm assuming?
I don't know. It's kind of exciting. I don't think we really know, because it's been the goal is just to get to the next thing you're doing. So at the moment we're concentrating on going on this American tour, but hopefully we'll start, making new music together, which will be fun for us, and then see what happens. And yeah, we'll definitely be playing a lot of gigs. So that's the only thing that I am fairly sure of. Well, not that sure of that either. So.
I'm curious, are you guys feeling very, from a global perspective, are you feeling very optimistic about touring next year? That's a hard one.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know is the simple answer. Yeah. But yeah, I think if you're not optimistic about it, then it's a bit depressing.
Yeah.